right, looks like we are here. Let's jump right in. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. How is everybody doing? I am trying to get more regimented on how I do Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. I'm trying to get more consistent with the time that I go live. Eventually, I'll probably post up an actual schedule and really hold myself accountable to 10 o'clock or 10:30 or something like that. I'm shooting for that 10:30 range. Okay. So I'm shooting for Fridays at 10:30. Jump on Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. That gives me a chance to hit the gym or do some kind of a workout and then really get my head wrapped around the focus part of the day. And then talk a little bit about the freedom that comes with self-employment and making independent decisions. Now, first off, if it's been a while since you've seen me come live here on Rumble, you're going to notice things have changed a little bit. I'm really, really happy with changing the background and the color of this workspace. Super, super happy. One of the benefits of going to a darker background is I don't need to have like giant spotlights on me to light me up anymore. And that, I got to tell you, go to fitness, right? Mental health, physical health, all that stuff. Not having like spotlights shining on me from everywhere on the other side of the camera really puts a lot of relief into my day. So it sounds silly, but that's part of that. Now today, in the video notes and in the video description down there, you're gonna see that I put that I had changed things up for fitness, that I changed my regimen up a little bit, and I put ouch, ouch with a smiley face. I had gotten into kind of a routine, especially over the winter. And so I wasn't going to the gym as much as I wanted to. I know, shame on me. I wasn't going to the gym as much as I wanted to. And when I was going to the gym, I was like, I would walk in, say hi to the dude behind the desk. I would hit cardio for 10, 15 minutes. And that's either going to be the elliptical or the bicycle, probably. I mean, I would do the treadmill every now and then, but here's what I think about treadmills. I can take the dog for a walk. I don't need to walk in the gym. I can take the dog for a walk. The dog would be happier to go walk around the trail at the park than I would be to walk on a treadmill. Now, I don't hang out at the gym all day. It's not my space. I go to the gym because I have to. I don't go to the gym because I really enjoy my time and my space there. So, so I would go in and I would do 10 or 15 minutes of cardio, and then I would do weights. Now, if the free weights weren't busy, and to me, busy is like if there's one open bench and there's 5 or 6 people working out, that to me is busy. I don't like to be in busy. If there's 2 people over there, I'm all in. I am all in, right? 1 person, 2 people, I'm all in. You know, I'll grab a bench and start doing my thing. If there's more people than that, I'll just use the machines. Now, some people in the fitness space are going to say, well, free weights give you a lot better burn. You got to use free weights. But I'm just there to get the exercise. All right. Please don't beat me up about technique. Let's just get me to where I'm actually moving something. Okay. So when I'm in the gym, I got a list of things that I typically do. So I'm going to do incline press, decline press, chest press, flies, triceps, biceps, lat pull downs. I'll do that rowing thing, working on the center of my back. I do a lot of that, right? So what does this mean? It means I'm really relying on the bicycling to keep my legs up, right? So my legs and my butt is really getting handled with all the bicycling that I do. The upper body is really getting handled in the gym. But here's the truth of it. The truth of it is I'm in and out of that gym in 30 to 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes is all the time I give it. I go in, I hit the cardio for 10 or 15. I do the weights for somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes, and I'm out. The Planet Fitness that I go to is not a busy Planet Fitness. So I can get to the machines pretty quickly and I can keep my reps going. I can keep my heart rate up and I get done what I want to get done. Now, that was the routine that I had pretty much all of winter. And in September and November, I rode 600 miles on my road bike. So I had assumed, silly me, had assumed that I had the bicycling fitness down, right? I mean, crap, I rode 300 miles a month for 2 months. Well, in November, we had a mountain bike event in Arkansas. Arkansas has real hills up and down, okay? And so when I went to practice the mountain biking with the kids on the team, I found myself getting gassed. and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Road biking ain't mountain biking. Mountain biking ain't road biking. Like whenever you switch things up, your body has to adjust. Then when we switched up to go back to mountain biking after 600 miles of road biking, I really struggled with the extra weight, with the extra stuff that was there. And so it had bothered me a little bit, okay? But I didn't let it bother me enough to ruin my holiday. I stayed on my thing through the holiday. Now, New Year's comes along and I find myself making noises, bending over to pick things up. Picking things up. Like an old person. Okay? I get it. I'm getting old, but I don't want to sound like an old person. And so I said, well, I should probably work on my flexibility again. And I had flashbacks. In 2017 and 2018, when I lost all that weight, I was working out every day in a CrossFit gym. So we were doing like 1 hour and 90-minute sessions in CrossFit. And we would start with stretching, and then we would do weights, and then we would end with stretching. Hold on. There we go. This time of year, allergies always get me. And so, it was stretching, weights, and then we would end. Hit me. I haven't been doing any flexibility or core work. I've been doing arms and chest and the bicycling. The bicycling kind of helps the core, but let's be real. I haven't been really focusing on that, right? And so, Fitness Focus Freedom Friday, I said, hey, today's the day. Instead of going to the gym, I'm going to pull up the app from Planet Fitness. I'm going to go to a flexibility and core course, and I'm going to do a workout session just on core and flexibility. It was a 19-minute session. 19 minutes, right? So it's counting down, it's doing its thing, and it's, stand this way and twist, stand this way and stretch, stand this way and bend down, do a plank, do this while you're planking, put your leg underneath you this way, put your leg underneath you the other way, do this, do that. I did all that, 19 minutes. At the end of the 19 minutes, in my living room, I stood there like a sore, sweaty mess. Folks, I got to tell you, I'm really big on this. I'm doing this Fitness Focus Freedom Friday message, not just for you to pay it forward, but I'm doing it for myself too, as a form of accountability, right? Like I'm actually going to stay active and keep doing things. And it's like that mountain bike ride. I thought I was fit, and I hit the mountain bike trail and found out very abruptly that I was not fit. I can, for a 58-year-old, let me just say, I can lift a pretty large amount of weight, like around the yard, right? You got a wheelbarrow full of rock and you need it on one side of the yard to the other side of the yard. I'm your man. You're moving and you need someone to throw a sofa in the back of that moving truck. I'm your man. It's a narrow walkway, but you've got the right, kind of hand truck, and you want to get your refrigerator out of the kitchen, through the living room, down the front steps and into the truck. I'm your guy. Like, even at 58 years old, I'm the guy for those kinds of things. So it gives me the impression that I am fit. When you do something that is markedly different in your routine and you struggle through it, that's a good thing. That's telling you, okay, we've identified a gap that we need to work on. And so over the next, I would say, week to 2 weeks, you're probably going to see me post again about flexibility, core, and its overall effect on fitness. That flexibility thing's important because, as you know, I liken physical fitness to fiscal fitness. I truly believe that my business can only succeed as much as my body will allow it to. I need to be able to execute. I need to be able to be fit. I need to be able to focus on what I'm doing for business and not thinking about how my lower back is bothering me. And so this fitness, this focus, it's really, really important. At least it's important to me, and I hope that I can inspire you to find the importance in it as well. So over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see me check in about the flexibility and the fitness and let you know where we're going. Now, at the end of all that, it's probably going to culminate in something like, hey, I'm going to drop a few pounds and I'm probably going to start running again. Newsflash, I hate running. I don't like to run, but running helps me lose weight. Let's just be honest. Running helps me lose weight. It also gives me time and focus. So when I'm running, it gives me a quiet moment to just think and get out of the box in my thinking while I'm running. Bicycling does it too. So I continue to bicycle, but I will add running to the mix, and we'll see how this goes over the next. So couple of weeks will be flexibility and core. Probably within a month, you're going to see me, get a pair of running shoes and go out and run and report back to you on how the running's going. Uh, in 2018, I was running 7 to 10 miles at a clip once or twice a week. Now, it seems like an eternity, but just because I did that 7 or 8 years ago, does that mean that that's what I'm going to do this time? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to run 5Ks. Maybe I'm just going to run 5Ks. And that's okay. That's okay too. But maybe I get inspired and I throw in a 10-mile run or a 10K, right? Somewhere between 6 and 10 miles. So if I do that, that'd be great. All right. I'm not saying I'm going to run marathons and stuff like that. I mean, who knows what the mind will invent, 6 months in. But my goal here is to keep exploring fitness-wise the gaps that I'm experiencing. And then instead of run in fear from those gaps, I want to hit those gaps head on and challenge them. All right. In 2018, I flew to Italy. I ran my Spartan Super Race in Orte, Italy. That was amazing. Okay. And I was really big in those Spartan races back in the day. Like, I loved them. The time that I realized I didn't love them was when I ran into someone who had said, "Oh, is this your Spartan Super?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do the trifecta thing." And he goes, "So how many times have you done the trifecta?" And I was like, "Well, this will be the year that this is it. I'm going to do it now." And he goes, "Oh man, I've done it like 14 times." And I thought to myself, I don't want to do this for a lifetime. I just want to accomplish something and move on to something else. Everyone's wired different. Everyone's wired different. Now, Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. Let me share with you a little piece of my freedom. So I'm self-employed. I'm in control of my own time. A friend of mine had posted something up. Now I've got this set to presentation, so I should be able to start a screen share. I wanted to go to Facebook first. Yes, I do. Okay. So here we are. And I'm going to pull this tab out and put it over here just to make sure that you're seeing what I think you're seeing. All right. And you are. And let's close this window down because you don't need to know who I'm chatting with. So Sarah McMillan, fabulous lady, fabulous lady. She's local here in Hutchinson, Kansas. She does a lot. She's really big on headshots, family photos. Doesn't do weddings anymore. I guess she used to do weddings, doesn't do weddings. She also helps people with their branding and getting their messages straight. She put up a thing today that said, "Hey, I got a new website. I used to call myself a brand photographer, but that's not really what I do." And then she talks about how she made her new website, all this kind of stuff. And then she says, "Here's my ask. Take 60 seconds and click through the site. The link is in the comments. I'd love to know, does it make sense? Is it clear? Does it feel confusing or off?" And blah, blah, blah. Now, Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. She's a wonderful lady. She's really active in the community. And I'm a website expert, right? I own Mañana No Mas. I do websites as a living. So here's what I did for Sarah. And I'm not going to go through the whole website. Okay. But this is her website, sarahmcmillan.com. So I encourage you, go to sarahmcmillan.com. If you're in need of clarifying your message for LinkedIn or getting headshots done or family pictures done, especially if you're in the Hutchinson or Wichita region in Kansas, Sarah's your lady. Okay. But I went through the website and I spent about 30 minutes going through and giving her a piece by piece critique or analysis of this website. Now, I'm not going to do that here on this call, and I'm not trying to embarrass Sarah. That's not my mission here. What I'm focused on for this message, for this right here, is when you create an environment, an ecosphere where you incorporate freedom into what you do. I have the ability. I'm not beholden to somebody else. How do I stop the share? Here we go. And then let's bring this back over to where I'm looking at the camera. All right. So I'm not beholden to a manager, a vice president, or how I spend my time. So the freedom of being self-employed is, hey, it's Friday. I'm a little light on my bookings. she didn't ask for the favor specifically, but she did post, hey, if you got a chance, look the site over. And then I was able to say, hey, let's etch out 30 minutes. Let's etch out 30 minutes for a friend and let's go through their product and let's help them out. Now, let me talk to you about how important this is. This is not like, oh, I did a favor for a friend. Okay. Yes, it is. I did a favor for a friend, but that's not the substantive message that I'm trying to give right now. Here's what I'm trying to give you. Because I set myself up with freedom in the mix, right? Remember, fitness focus, freedom, Friday. Because I set myself up with freedom in the mix, I'm able to pay it forward to a neighboring entrepreneur in the area. I'm able to take my expertise and I'm able to lay that out for a neighboring entrepreneur in our space, in our region. This level of networking, this level of community, this level of, hey, we need to get along, we need to add value to each other. A lot of people in the business world, especially in the corporate business world, they have that, it's us or nobody, it's us or nobody. What are our stock values? What do our stakeholders have to say, right? But when you're an entrepreneur and you're in a space by yourself, especially a regional local space, I want to encourage you, leverage the freedom you give yourself and add that value to other people. Leverage the freedom that you are able to give yourself and add value to other people. That goes so far. Now, is this going to be 16 referrals from Sarah for me to make websites for people locally? Heck, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen from it, but it's just doing the right thing. It's helping people out. So I gave her some very good, actionable ideas in a 30-minute review of this website. I did it as a screen share. I walked her through it. It's audio with me talking. It's the screen share with her website. And I went through and I said, I would change this. I would change that. This button goes somewhere I don't recognize. It should go somewhere else. This button should go here. This button should go there. This menu item needs linked up. But it's because here's what happens. Let's just be real. She's a photographer, right? So I'm a web expert. She's a photographer. So doesn't it make sense that maybe there's going to be some things in her website, even though she made it herself, there's going to be some things in her website that are missing or some things that are a little off. Me with my expertise, I can come in afterwards and I can say, hey, I would change this, and this. She can execute those changes. She doesn't need me to do it. She can execute those changes. But now she's executing changes with the advice of an expert. So that's going to help her. Okay. And then some of you are watching this and you're going, yeah, but why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. She's not stealing business off my table. She's even if she says, hey, you know what? I'm going to make websites for other people. Even if she said, hey, you know what? I'm going to launch a digital agency. I launched my own website and it went so well. Maybe I'll just start making websites for other people. She's still not taking business off my table. That's the problem with corporate America. When I made training for one of the largest motorcycle brands in the world, I made training for them and they knowingly let me make the training. I spent a year working on a project that we would help motorcycle dealerships all over the country increase their service business. We made an amazing curriculum for this one brand. And then right when we were going to launch, right when we were going to invite all these dealers to come and take our training and improve their businesses and increase their parts and labor sales, a vice president pulled me into a room and said, Kurt, we can't do it. And I said, what? Can't do what? What are you talking about? And because that's how naive I was. Even at my old age, I was that naive. I said, what are you talking about? And they said, if we train the dealers how to increase their overall service business and they represent other brands than just ours, we're actually helping the other brands increase in their market share and sales too. That had to be the dumbest thing I ever heard from a corporate leader in my life. If we help our business partners improve their business, it might also help some levels of our competition, and we don't want to do that. In my mind, and it wasn't just in my mind, because I remember I articulated this to this individual. I said, you're in competition with these other brands, and the competition is at the dealership. The dealership has a lot of say in who they recommend when it comes to brands. So wouldn't it make sense that you want the dealership to represent you? You want the dealer to recommend your product over the other products whenever possible, whenever that's a thing. Don't you think if you're the brand that helps that dealership increase their revenue, increase their business, don't you think there's going to be a connection, a relationship built through that? And don't you think that's going to increase the percentage of times that your product is recommended over the competitor's product? When you help your partners, they help you. You're looking for I put 50 cents in, I get a dollar back. I put 50 cents in, I get a dollar back. What's the matter with doing the right thing and then seeing the results over time? In the end, they didn't let me make the training available. I spent a year of my life building some of the best dealership training that would ever get distributed to these dealers. And to this day, those files are still locked in an external hard drive at that corporate office, probably to never be seen by anybody else again, because I don't work there anymore. So when I left the company, I took a lot of that curriculum, which is in my head. It's not their property, it's my property, it's in my head, right? It's not copyrighted or trademarked or anything with them. So I took a lot of that content and I made the Power Sport Academy, which is the independent training company for dealerships all over the country. Anybody that is a dealership that wants to increase their parts and labor sales and increase their customer satisfaction and reduce the employee turnover of their dealership needs to go to the Power Sport Academy and sign up for my training. And it's all right there. The sad part is that anyone that would have been a dealership for that brand would have gotten a better version of it years ago, and it was put under lock and key. And when I say a better version of it, I'm being really honest. I'm being unbelievably honest. Because the technology that we created that course in was more engaging. Like, to play the training was more entertaining and more engaging, which means that more people would have followed it through to the end. That's why I say it was better, right? I had to take that content and basically rebuild that level of content, but build it in the technology that I had available to me. And I didn't want to spend the time or the dollars to make it that interactive style. It's really just the facts laid out rather than like watching a movie. Okay. That said, still fantastic, still the best training in the world for dealerships to take on increasing the parts and labor sales, and available at the Power Sport Academy. But could have been available for free to all of the dealerships that did business with that brand and in a better format. And that's what I'm talking about. Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. If you're self employed and you're not locked into that corporate bubble, you have the freedom to leverage yourself and add value to others, which in the end rises all ships, right? A rising tide rises all ships. I got one more thing that's in my video description that I want to hit on for you. I think we're going to put this in the focus category. So we have Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. The focus category is this. As most of you know, I'm a person of faith. I'm not shy about telling you what I believe. I also don't really believe in beating people over the head with it. Okay. That said, I am doing a reading of Proverbs where I read a chapter of Proverbs every day, and I slow it down and I read between the verses. And sometimes we define a word, or sometimes we define a phrase, but we usually start out with prayer. We read the chapter, we end with prayer, and then it moves forward. I see people are in here in the live. So, folks, if you're coming in here live and you have any comments, that would be awesome to see the comments in here. And then let's see, campaigns, products, bookmark, campaigns, live chat, live chat. Yeah. So let me know who you are, where you're from, stuff like that. We can have a chat. I'm probably going to close this out pretty soon, but it's cool that people are here. Anyway, these readings that we're doing in Proverbs, we are saving a recording of each of the readings. We're adding them to kurtvononen.com. So if you're interested in doing, now I'm not the first person. I am not the first person to think that reading Proverbs at the beginning of the year is a good thing to do. There's 31 chapters. There's 31 days in January. Reading Proverbs is a great way to start the year. It's all about wisdom. And if you're in business, what better source to get your wisdom from than Scripture? However, I have participated in other Proverbs reading things, and they wore me out. They just plain wore me out. The introductions, the patting each other on the back, the guest talks, the guest speeches, the promotion of other businesses during this supposed reading of Scripture, it wore me out. And so this reading of Proverbs is literally, we turn on the camera, we pray, we read a chapter, we discuss maybe an element or two about the reading, we pray, turn it off. So it's, I don't know, 12 to 20 minutes every day, depending on the length of the chapter. And a recording of each of those is in kurtvanonen.com. If you go to the homepage, you'll see it'll be right there. You click a link, it'll take you right to a free course. What I did was I put it into a course format, so each chapter has its own lesson. That's it. And you can use it as a resource. You can go back to it whenever you want, and it's free. All right. So Fitness, Focus, Freedom Friday. Folks, finish the week strong. Have an awesome weekend. See, I almost made it for the whole live stream without talking about the brisket I made on Wednesday. It was so good. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.